So we're going to talk about simple interest. You guys are pretty straightforward on it. Simple interest, the formula is I equals capital P R T. All those variables are pretty much controlled for interest. And you're going to see that over and over again. The same variables, especially one-letter variables, are going to be reused different times depending on the math you happen to be doing. In finance, I is always interest, capital P is always principal, little r is always rate, and little t is always time in what? Time is what? In years. So let's look at here. We've got a loan. The loan is $5,000. Now what is this right here? The loan amount. What is that?
$5,000.
But which variable does it equate to?
P.
It's your principal. The term is 2 years. That's what?
Your
Which variable?
T.
T. And the interest rate is 15%. Which one's that?
Rate.
R. Rate. So here we go and put it in there. So I equals P, which is 5,000 times rate, which is
15%.
how do I write 15% in decimals?
0.15.
0.15 times time. What's T?
2.
2, because it's already in years. Be careful when they give you months. That decimates you, right? So let's multiply that out. 5,000 times 0.15 times 2. You can do the multiplication. Wait, let everyone get a chance. You're already there, huh? It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You figure out the answer already?
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it, but I know what it is.
It's numbers.
I mean,
Okay.
What do you got, Wesley?
$1,500.
$1,500. So $1,500 total. And that, I want you guys to use some common sense reasoning. 15% is a pretty big number, right? Percent-wise. But they started out with a big number, $5,000. So $1,500 isn't bad given 5 years at 15%. So it logically makes sense. So the interest owed is $1,500. So what's the total repayment? How do we get it?
6,500.
We add 1,500 back to 5,000, which gets us
6,500.
$6,500.
Whoops, I accidentally hit the multiplication.
So here's what I want you to do at your tables. I want you to do questions 2 and 3. Pull this down here. I want you to do questions 2 and 3 as your tables talk. So the first person do question 2. Make sure the other people agree with you. The second person do question 3. Hold on to question 4. We'll do it together. So take a couple of moments. Work those through.
So look, number 2.
Now, think about this. You know the formula is I equals PRT, right? Pay attention to which elements you have. If you're missing some elements, you'll have to use algebra or NSolve, it depends on how you feel about that, to find out the answer. Why did you panic when I said algebra or NSolve? We love algebra. So let's hear some talk.
we do 1,000 divided by 12 times 4. You have to do the opposite piece, don't you?
Just fill in the elements you know.
Had earned a total of $112
You know the formula, right?
interest.
So what's the formula?
What has
1,000.
No, it's I equals PRT.
Yeah.
Okay. Now fill in the parts of that you know.
P is 1,000.
Okay. But here, what's I?
I is what it's equal to.
Okay, but did they give you that?
No.
Yes.
So you know what I is.
So the interest rate equals 25%.
Okay, well then you
I got 1.2
You're working on number 2?
Look, that's how you
You'd
use NSolve.
bring in, turn on your calculator.
Times
What'd you type in?
4
And then you go to
4
NSolve.
years times x, which is, since x is the variable, because we don't know how much, what percent is, equals 112. And then you just
Is equal to
I did 1,000
1,000.
equals 1,000 times R times 4.
But did they
Times
give
four.
smaller?
Is
Did
it
they give
doing
Times
the
x. And then do
the
comma
I
x.
is
They didn't do that,
Hmm?
but
Then,
they already
then
did.
do 1,000
Fill in
times
that
4
when you
times
No, I know.
x.
That's
And then do
the
comma
reason I was
x.
able to get 112. I was
So how'd you get 0?
Chris, you have that.
Okay, remember the parts you have.
It would do 112
Look at the parts you have.
on
Do you
install.
have I?
Yes.
Hold up.
Okay, so erase that whole thing. No, not up there. So and fill in I first.
Wait, but
we
isn't
need
the
to do
What's
112
I in your problem?
fixed rate? So that's what.
What's I in your problem?
It says 0.028.
And then do
You're
112
trying to
is
figure
equal to
out what the
1,000
interest rate is.
times
And you
4
have
times
the,
x, comma x.
loan amount.
4
The loan
Times.
is
x.
amount.
Question number 3 should read,
Comma
I got it from there.
how long was the, it does say how long was
And
the,
then
never
you
mind,
have,
I would read yours wrong.
But you
It does say,
have to, like,
what is I?
divide it.
Read
Yeah.
problem 2. This is what we talked about earlier, right?
Oh, okay.
You're
0.20.
guessing. Go into problem 2, your pencil,
20%.
and underline the parts that are numbers, and right above them write what they are.
On the first
Okay,
one.
but what is $1,000? Which does it fill in as?
0.028.
So write it above it.
It's 30 actually.
And
I
if
need
you
to
do
switch the X and 4,
1,000 times,
but
you
it's,
have to do
it's 30.5.
Join in. Unkickstand your head and
Yeah.
join
So
in.
30.5.
Okay, same
No,
thing.
you would put X.
Underline the parts.
2.8%.
And right above them write what they are. See, that's what you're missing right now. Okay, why did you put $112 as T? Time is never money. It's I. Okay, is that what you wrote? Okay, I thought I saw T. Okay, so now that means you already know I is, right? So, what's I?
Marty and
Well, you
Paul.
need number 4.
1,000.
Do we need to install for this one?
You can use it. No.
0.05.
Okay.
So that's 5%.
Mm-hmm. Get it done.
Trying to figure out how long.
Get it done.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we're going to put.
You guys working on the next one?
Yeah, you do.
Without the calculator. Show me the calculator. I want to know how to do that.
I did.
Yeah, I didn't.
What would you write I?
Huh?
Yeah, you do.
Times
X.
I with 112.
Yes, and I can do 112.
This problem.
And then how do
Well,
you
I-
make your
I
rate?
with
So
112.
I used insolve.
Somebody else got them too.
And
You put
insolve.
insolve
right?
112.
No, I didn't. Insolve. And the principle is 1,000 times 4 times x equals 112 comma x. And it solves for x.
So is it 550?
Is that right, Mr. Lewis?
Twice. That's so bad for
Point
me.
0.028.
And it's down to 2.
You do, 1,000 times 0.05
Nope.
times. No, I did 0.5. That's fine.
Stop.
All right, let's look at number 2. Most of you are done with number 2, so let's go to this one. One of those things you guys got to start getting used to in word problems is identify the part of the word problem. So when I'm saying Andreas invested $1,000 in a savings account, after 4 years the account had earned a total of $112 simple interest without any additional deposits. What was his interest rate? So when you're going through, label the parts. So $1,000, what is that? I, P, R, or T?
I. Or no. P.
P. Okay, after 4 years, so what's 4? Stop. What's 4?
T.
T. The accountant earned a total of $112 simple interest. So what's 112?
I.
I. Without any additional, what was the interest rate? So we're looking for R, right? So put the cap on it and put it away. So now I can still write my problem. I equals PRT, right? But I know what I is, don't I? What's I?
112.
112. So, whoops. 112 equals, what's P?
112.
1,000 times
X.
R, which we don't know, times 4. Now, you can do this a couple ways. You can do an n-solve, you can do an old-fashioned algebra where you and that's not terribly hard. I'll show you that in a bit. But right now, you guys can use insolve. Remember to put your comma R at the end. What'd you get, Reed? 0.028. How many of you have gone into a bank and seen them use decimals as the interest rate? What do they always do? They put it in percent. So how do I get this to a percent? Two spaces. Remember, a percent sign has 2 zeros. That's 2 spaces. So I go back 2 spaces, which gives me 2.8%. Okay, so now look at problem 3 at your table. So the second person, there's a couple you still working on it. Label the parts inside the word problem, and it makes itself very easy. Okay, so get it done. You guys working through?
So now
You're just not working together. Are you working through? You have to pay attention.
Yeah, it doesn't show the time, so.
0.55
Got it?
times 5. No, wait.
What did the 5
No, wait, we're trying to find time. So
equals?
invest. So, times all. So,
1,000.
I is 5
I is 50.
0, 5.
550.
And then T is 1,000.
Does this one make sense to you? Have you already turned this in?
R is
This lesson, this paper from Thursday,
Pretty sure.
I got it.
it's 5%.
due today. Did you get a time?
No, 5%.
What time do you grade them?
At the end of the day. Today it'll be, because I'm driving the bus, I'll leave out here right at the end of period.
It's 5%.
Right at the end of the night?
You have to find the interest. How long? You have to find.
Long is time in years.
Yes.
No.
Okay, so let's look at problem 3.
11.
So Randy invested $1,000 for college in an account earning 5% simple interest. When she withdrew the investment, she had earned a total of $550 interest. How long was the money invested? Well, first of all, let's label the parts and give them a 9. So invested. What is $1,000?
P.
P. In college, she earned 5%. What's 5%?
R.
Simple interest. When she withdrew the investment, she had earned a total of $550 in interest. So what's that?
I.
How long was the money invested? What's long? What does that refer to?
Time.
So when I go I equals PRT, and I put it above there so I won't forget where the elements go. If you go spit that out.
Extra paper.
Okay, that's nasty. But okay. So I, we wrote up here, was 550, right? Equals the principal was $1,000 times R was how much? 5%, which is 0.05 times how long was T? We don't know. That's what we're looking for, right? So we're looking for T. All right. So put it in there. Remember, if you're using insult, put comma T. Lexi, what'd you get? T equals 11 years. Everyone agree?
Well,
I got 1.1.
Huh?
I got 1.1. Because 550 is equal to.
No.
I did that.
It's 11.
you probably put 100 instead.
Mhm.
Oh, it's 1,000.
You
Oh, I
put
put.
25.
Yeah.
I got it wrong 'cause I
Okay.
That's what Ellen did.
Yeah, it'll get you if you have them. Retry them again. And use logic. Shh. If I put 5, what's 5% of 1,000? You guys can use logic. What's 5% of 1,000?
10.
50.
Oh.
50, which means I'm looking at $550. So that's 11 years. Does that make sense? Is that too easy? Let's look at number 4. Number 4 is a pretty common, it is a more common problem that you'll deal with. And I will tell you, anytime you see a problem like this, make it a table. A table lets you add parts. You can try and do it in your brain, but you will hate yourself in the morning. So let's look at this. Gina deposits $150 at the start of each year into a college savings account that pays 4% simple interest at the end of each year. How much total interest will Gina earn on her deposits through the end of the 5th year? So we're going to change that to the end of the 3rd year, and that's only because I ran out of paper. So 3rd year, it just wouldn't fit on one piece of paper and in your books. So what's 150?
The P.
That's our P. What's 4%?
R.
So let's talk about year 1. At year 1, how much does she put in? $150, right? What's the rate?
4%.
So
4.
0.04. So let's find the interest there, and that, remember, what's T in this case? 1, which means we don't have to include it because anything times 1 is itself. So 150 times 0.04. Solve it.
6.
Let everyone get it. So what'd you say, Wesley?
6.
So she made $6, right? So what's her total at the end of next year? Okay, her total is 150 plus 6, 156. Now at the beginning of the year, she's going to add $150 to this, right? So what's 156 plus 150?
306.
306. What's the rate?
0.04.
0.04. Let's find the interest for $306. Listen, you got it? What's the interest on this? 12 point. I can't hear you. 24. So now we have to add 306 plus 12.24, and what do we get? $318.24. Now we start the 3rd year. What are we going to do? Add another 150. So what's 318.24 plus 150? Go ahead.
468.24.
468.24. What's the rate this year? Still 4%, right? So let's add, or let's multiply 468 by 0.04. Multiply. Ready? What'd you get?
187.2.
Say it again.
187.
This seems a little high.
That is very high.
18.
What'd you get? Go ahead. Tell. Go ahead. 18.72. Now, so 18.72 plus 468.24. How much is that?
Wouldn't you round up pieces at 9 after it?
Does it have 729? I didn't.
Yeah.
Is it decimal?
What's that?
You would round up. So 18.73. Sorry, I don't have the calculator. So now I'm going to add 468.24 plus 18.73. What do you get, Lane?
486.97.
Now, before you get all happy with this, what did the question actually ask for? The biggest problem you guys have is answering the question that wasn't asked. What did it ask for? The total interest. It just wanted the total of this column, right? So we need to add 6 plus 12.24 plus 18.73. So what was the total interest?
$36.97.
$36.97. Now, you guys looking over a chart, I want you to pay attention to some things. What do you notice here between the interest between year 1 and year 2?
It nearly doubled.
It did a little more than double, right? Basically, they added another 6 point something, right? How about between 2 and 3?
Added another 6.
Add another 6 plus some change. You got more change that time, right? As you're looking through your interest charts, pay attention that you just don't have a sudden jump of amazement. If you follow yourself all the way down the charts and you find out that suddenly one of them just jumps really high compared to the others, it probably means you made an error in your math. If it drops really low, you definitely made an error in your math. Does that make sense? Okay, so any questions on simple interest? The table is your friend, where they say they add so much money every year or every month or something like that. The table is your friend. If you don't do the table, we can do all this math in our head or on the calculator, but just remembering which step you're at, because somebody will do something that'll confuse you. Lexi will do a chair back there and you'll be like, what? And then you come back and try and remember your error. It's not her fault. Okay.